Hi, my name is Scylla, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. You can tell by the title what's happening. I have food in front of me. I'm going to eat it. I'm hungry. It's very hot. This is going to be very uncomfortable. I'm doing it anyway. Yay. So I think it's actually been like 2-3 months since I last filmed anything, so I feel very out of my comfort zone right now. But if I focus on the food, you know, I won't have to focus so much on the camera, and I can pretend that I'm having a conversation with myself, and maybe that'll help me get back into the groove of things. Now, the reason I'm choosing to do this as a Lolita theme rather than just general mukbang or whatever it's called is because it gives me a reason to dress up. It's just been really hot lately, and I tend to get really depressed, and I don't dress up as much during the latter half of summer. I have in front of me a sandwich, some cinnamon vanilla tea. I covered up the Starbucks name on this cup with flowers because I thought that would make it slightly more Lolita, because why not? And I've got macarons here because yum. And a single chocolate covered frozen strawberry that I should probably eat soon before it melts and gets all over my brand. So the reason I'm choosing taboo topics for this video is because I don't think that the topics I'm going to be talking about are really worthy of their own video. You know what? That's a lie. That's like a total lie. The reason I'm not making any videos of these topics on their own is because I don't want no backlash, you know? I'll just put it in one totally non-official video, throw it out there in one go, super chill, super relaxed, super laid back. You know, I'm just stuffing my face, just blobbing out, just whatever. Just whatever. Not trying to be serious or anything. Don't want to state no facts. Don't want to say anything wrong. I'm just taking it easy. Don't want to offend anyone. Just, you know, throwing out my own little opinions because my opinions matter. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and have a good time. Yeah. So before I do anything else, I'm going to eat this chocolate covered strawberry because it is melting. It is now officially melting, so I swear I eat more delicately. So I got the most cutest little box of these at Trader Joe's, where you can find them too. Chocolate and strawberries are my favorite thing in the world, so if you're like me, I would suggest you get a box for yourself when you have moments of sadness, because then you have happiness waiting for you. So let's just go ahead and jump into taboo topic number 1. Something that everyone is sick of is angelic pretty losing their spark. This is a very old, kind of worn out topic that I'm sure everyone is sick of. So here's the thing about AP. People have been bitching about their prints since sweet started becoming hip. Why is it always more fruits, more ponies, more this, more that, more pasta? Why? Why do we have all this? It just all looks the same. It's all the same. Everything, it's all the same. I'm so sick of it. Why don't you do something else, AP? AP, just stop making baby prints, please. I'm tired of it. Well, that's just what was trending at the time. And then, you know, a couple of years later, classic sweets started super becoming a thing, so they changed their ways, started focusing more on like softer themes, lighter pastels, more floof, more chiffon, more subtle OTT. And for me, coming back into Lolita, because I had taken a break in between these two big time frames, it was like, yeah, I have to admit that I really didn't care for any of those kinds of prints. And that was really good. That was the lemon one. I was really happy. Okay, next topic. DDLG, because you know, why not? Okay, so here's the thing about DDLG, or just kinks in general. I personally do not believe in kink shaming, no matter what it is. I don't. Well, That's a little bit of a lie. Now, so long as you are not hurting or fucking anyone who is too underdeveloped or young or just otherwise unable to give their own consent, their full consent in which they understand every single, thing that's happening, then you know what, you do you. I don't see it as you actually hurting anyone. So that being said, I want to talk about the entitlement that I've seen in the DDLG scene who want to mesh with Lolita. So I know this is really old news, but again, it's something to talk about. It's, a little bit of tea talk. So there was this girl or guy, I think it's a girl, who emailed Lore, and there's also someone else who emailed Tyler Willis. And basically the gist was, DDLG is not bad, everyone should be more understanding and not be so hurtful, and blah 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 blah. I like the way that Lore handled it. I have a massive respect towards Tyler Willis, but I don't necessarily agree with how she handled things because, again, I'm not into kink shaming. But she has every right to feel how she feels, and she was in her right in responding however she wanted to in her own video. Now, when it comes to DDLG in particular, I understand that sex is not always involved, and I understand that calling someone daddy or little girl doesn't equal to you, thinking of him as like your father or her as your actual daughter. I kind of liken it to, when you see someone who you fucking hate and it's like, look at that bitch. But then you see your friend and you're like, hey bitch. There's like a really big difference there, They're like two totally separate things. I personally do not see it at all as, a man I don't see it as him getting his rocks off to like an actual underage, because I feel if that were the case, he would actually be doing things and looking at things, trying to find things that involved. And that I will say, fucking weird, and I judge you. But in this case, I understand that he's attracted to a woman who is doing this kind of dynamic with him. So if you are into DDLG, I don't judge you or anything. However, I do think that it's unfair and also pretty much unacceptable to ask the entirety of the Lolita community to be accepting of what you're into. Even if it's not sexual, even if it's just a way of making a more intimate dynamic between you and your partner, that is still something that is just that. It is in a very intimate detail between you and your partner. Now let's say that you don't have a daddy or a mommy or a caregiver or anything like that. Let's just say that you're a little. Unfortunately, you are still scooped into the same bowl of ice cream, You still belong in that category. Whilst there might not be any sex involved or anything like that, it is still something that is regarded as your own little personal kink. You also have to understand where Lolitas are coming from. They already struggle. They have already been struggling for years, since the beginning of Lolita. There's a bunch of pervs out there who look at Lolitas, see sweet Lolita, and think you're trying to be a little girl. You're gross. You're weird. Why are you doing this fetish thing in public? It's something that Lolitas have been trying to push away. It's something that we've been trying to avoid. And then you have all these little teens or tweens or whatever reblogging stuff on Tumblr and Instagram using Lolita tags, sweet Lolita, for things that are completely unrelated. So I understand why everyone's angry. I understand why they don't want to be associated with you in any way, shape, or form. This one's coconut. I don't actually like coconut at all. Like, I don't mind shavings if it's like, you know, banana cream pie or something. You know how they have shavings on the edge. But aside from that, I don't like coconut. But this is okay. I like this. It's very subtle. So if you are into DDLG and you're watching this and you feel very hurt by the community and the anger that they hold towards, you know, your whole scene, maybe look at it this way. Let's say that you're wearing Lolita in public and you come across, you know, a pair of old women who start accusing you of just being some kind of sexual deviant just based off your clothes. And imagine explaining to them, no, these are just normal clothes. This is how I dress. In their mind, for whatever reason, their reality of things is different from yours. You are never going to change their mind. And normally with those kinds of people, you recognize that fairly quickly and you move on. Like, what's the point in explaining to someone who doesn't want to understand in the first place? In this case, I feel like it is the same. A lot of Lolitas don't want to understand. Like, even if it hurts, even if you want them to understand because, you know, you feel that their reality of what you are is warped, they don't want to change their mind anytime soon. They're not going to. If they were open to understanding you, they would go and do the research themselves on their own. But you can't tell somebody to change their mind on how they feel. You can't expect that of anyone. And so here's some advice. If you want to mix Lolita with DDLG, because you wanna, like, if these two things are that important to you, you know what? Just go make your own community. There's Discord, there's Facebook, you can create your own group. Create your own little safe space, bubbly area where you can talk about what you want. Set it to invite only, otherwise you might end up getting a whole bunch of trolls and haters and stuff. Like, if you want a community that understands you so bad, just create one. You won't be bothering or hurting anyone else. You know, keep it to that area and no one will really care, no one will bother you. Like, really, that's all you have to do. And that's enough of that topic. So let's go ahead and move on now because that took a while. Replicas. So nowadays, if you buy replicas, I think not everyone, but a lot of people agree more or less that you're basically sinning or something. But 10 years ago, however, it was much more widely accepted. There are a lot of Lolitas out there who were buying replicas and stuff. And honestly, it made a lot of sense at the time because that was during the time that prints were super in. Shops were super limited. Brand was being shoved down our throats. It was super expensive back then getting your hands on the real deal. There was no AP in San Francisco yet. Chances are you would have to go through this thing right here that I can't remember because brain shopping service, that's what it is. Yeah, you had to pay for a shopping service in addition to the original price of the brand dress on top of shipping. So it was a lot. And people just really were dying for those prints. Sizes were also really limited. If you were too big for a dress or too tall. Nowadays though, I think it's entirely different because we have shops like Double Inspired, Glitzy Wonderland. There's an AP store here in the US, so those who live here can buy from there. And we've advanced to the point where we have our own eBay. We have Lace Market. We can just buy secondhand. Makes things so much more convenient compared to when, you know, it was just live journal sales or whatever it was called. There's also sale groups on Facebook, so really you have so many more choices to buy your stuff from now. And because there's so many indie brands out there today, it's like, wow. Unless you're searching for your holy grail dress, you can pretty much get any kind of dress that you want now. So whereas 10 years ago it was like kind of understandable, nowadays it's like, why would you even wanna? It is art theft. You're stealing someone's design. Now, my opinion of replicas hasn't changed too much from 10 years ago. If you're too tall, I would hope that you would find an underskirt. If you're too big, I would hope that you would find a similar dress from an indie brand. You know, having a dress that fits you and your measurements in a very flattering way is very nice. Right fit equals more flattering equals confidence. Confidence equals happiness. Also, nowadays you can get brand for so cheap that I don't think that it's worth it to get replicas anymore, because you could just save like a little bit more than that and have a brand dress secondhand. But if you have like really old replicas, I'm not gonna judge. I can see how they would be really convenient. Like, you know when you download a font for like your own personal use? I kind of liken it to that. Like, let's go ahead and say that the Pokemon font is copyrighted. So you cannot use this for commercial use whatsoever. But someone else there decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a whole alphabet of this because it's really chill and nice. So they create their free to download of the Pokemon font, and you can't use it for commercial use, only personal use. And that's really all you need it for. It's just your own at-home project. Nobody else has to see it. You don't post pictures of it all over Instagram and Facebook. You don't wear it to meets. You don't wear it to tea parties. You just want to wear it at home, you know, doing dishes, mopping, cleaning. You can throw it in the wash 1,000 times and you don't have to worry about damaging it. And if it does get messed up because you're doing all this stuff with it, well, it's fine, it's just a replica. Next topic, bodyline Mr. Yan. So literally as I was getting dressed, I was browsing through the YouTubes because I always have something playing when I'm getting ready. And I see that, you know, certain YouTuber, they had just uploaded a video about Mr. Yan and bodyline. So I'm not gonna bother talking about that. But basically, if you're living under a rock, bodyline has new management now. So normally I actually don't have more than 2 of these a day because trying to keep, you know, in shape, trying to be a little more health conscious about what I'm putting in my body. Today's a special occasion though, you know. I put my frills on, I'm making a video. I'm having like a fake mini tea party because, you know, I deserve to talk and have tea. So as far as CGL goes, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple. There's a lot of trolls. There's a lot of haters. But there's also, you know, sprinkled in there a lot of really cool, enlightened people who they're just really good at, like, and just think of it this way. For every hater and judger and vendetta-chan out there, there's always someone to stand up and defend and be like, the fuck are you talking about? What's wrong with you? So sometimes I think that maybe it's not such a bad place. But then I remember that like every week or so they'll post Idas and stuff without, you know, the Idas knowing or without their permission or consent. And then I think maybe it's actually like toxic. A lot of the times there'll be constructive criticism in there. And sometimes it'll just be some bashing, you know? And I'm not gonna lie and say that I've never read it because obviously I'm talking about it right now. I go check CGL maybe once a month. I feel very good. It was very fulfilling. I haven't eaten all morning It is now. It's now 2 o'clock. So, yay. Honestly, I just find it to be boring. Most of it is like cosplay topics. And when there are Lolita topics on there, it just doesn't really interest me. So this one I think is going back in the fridge. This one I'm gonna eat though because this is the raspberry one and most likely to be my favorite of the bunch, which is why I saved it for last. I was wrong. I think this is fig. Yeah. I don't mind it, but if this is the fig, which one was the raspberry? No. It said on the box that there was raspberry. Did I eat it? Oh, cat's meowing. Anyway, if you go on CGL, I don't think that you're evil. If you are a bitch on CGL, I think you're a bitch. My tea was pretty nice. I'm glad. Sometimes I get so excited to try new teas and then I try them out and it's like, ooh, that's not good at all. Anyway, if you made it this far, which I doubt anybody did because long video, then thank you. If I do another one of these, it is going to probably not be Lolita related at all. If you've got any beef with anything that I said, feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye!